Hello everyone, Paul de Klerk here from the Traveling Traders. Welcome back. We're going to discuss today the Elliott wave method that I use to determine market context. In other words, how do I know where the market is likely to go next? I've had so many people watch my videos and then flick me a message asking how the heck did I know that was going to happen? This is just what I hope to show you guys today. Now, please bear in mind that this video is not designed for the advanced trader out there who has been trading for a while. The people I want to help today are the rookies and the people who have not traded before but are interested in finding out how it all works. You know, people who want to start learning some new skills to decipher what's going on in the market. Now, if you are somebody who's never traded before, please don't let this information become overwhelming. It's just new information. But like anything else, with a little study, some practice, some professional coaching, you can start using these new skills for a better lifestyle and you can reach for your dreams, just like I did. Right, but first, just some quick disclaimer information that I need to run through with you guys. This presentation contains information in very general terms, so no financial advice is actually given. Trading the market contains financial risks, so seek expert advice from your investment advisor. Now, although I do trade for a living, I am not myself a trading coach. If you need an introduction to an expert professional in coaching, please just flick me a message and I can introduce you to my coach. Now, if anyone is going to be a successful trader out there and make money out of this thing, then certain skills of analysis need to be learned that helps you anticipate where the market is likely to go next. This is important because to get involved and be a trader, you are going to have to make two very important decisions. Am I going to back the buyers and sellers, or the sellers? And where exactly am I going to look to push the button and actually get in? Now, one of the pieces of analysis that I use to help answer these questions for myself is called the Elliott wave theory. If you did a Google search on Elliott wave theory, you just watch your computer melt with search results. There's also a lot of books out there written on it, so it's a very widely accepted and used technique of analysis by professional traders. And this is a good thing, because the more people who look at the chart in a similar way to you, the more likely it is that the market will move in the direction you are backing. Now, just a quick side note, there are heaps and heaps of videos out there that discuss Elliott wave theory in very major detail. But for the most part, they explain why it works. Now, I'm not going to go into why it works because quite honestly, I don't care, right? When I see something that does work, all I need to know is how to apply it. It's like my car. I really don't need to know a lot about how an internal combustion engine works for me to be able to use it and actually get to where I need to get to, right? Make sense? So it's like 1 + 1 = 2. I don't need to know why it equals 2 or how it equals 2. It's just what do I do with this information now that I know this? So if we know that Elliott wave theory works and that a lot of professional traders out there are using this, how can we use this information to our advantage? Now, very quickly, who is Elliot? Some quick facts. Ralph Nelson Elliot, he was an American accountant who died back in 1948, and he was an absolute genius. In the 1930s, he sat down and did some major study in crowd psychology and crowd behavior. Now, because the markets around the world are basically nothing more than massive crowds of millions and millions of people making investment decisions, Elliot realized that certain social principles make the market move in some very predictable ways, right? He said that the markets are not random. Like many people tell me that trading is nothing more than just gambling. You know, if it's gambling, how do you explain the millions of people out there making millions of dollars every year? When I first got into trading, if I had listened to all the people out there telling me, nah, that's just gambling, you're not going to win anything, you're going to lose your shirt, then geez, I would have missed the best opportunity of my lifetime. But anyway, I digress. Back to Elliot. Elliot said that markets are not random, but that they move in very predictable patterns. And these patterns just keep repeating themselves over and over and over again, right? And today we call these patterns Elliott waves. Let me show you what the Elliott wave pattern looks like. Now don't laugh, but that right there is the secret sauce to massive success as a day trader. This is the pattern that many professional traders out there are looking for when they switch on their computers every day and they start analyze and looking at what's going on. Now, the way to read this is that time is moving forwards from left to right, and the yellow line shows movements in price on the chart. So all the green and red candles that move up and down, this is what the trader is looking for to make sense of all those candles. There are two phases to the pattern, the motor phase and the corrective phase. The motor phase is identified with numbers 1 to 5, and the corrective phase with letters A, B, and C. Looking at the motor phase, this consists of 5 waves, and waves 1, 3, and 5 are the waves that most traders like to take their trades in because they always move in the direction of the trend. And that's a hot tip right there. Please never, never trade against the overall trend. You'll blow your account faster than a cheeseburger at a Weight Watchers meeting, trust me. Now, waves 2, 4, those 2 waves of the 5-wave structure, they are corrective waves. They just interrupt the main trend before it continues on again. After the 5-wave sequence is complete, you get the corrective phase, which is the numbers or the letters A, B, and C. So let's look at an example. This is crude oil futures from not too long ago. You can clearly see the 5-wave sequence going up and then the A, B, C correction phase. Can you see it? There's the first phase. There's the second phase. Wave 3 goes there. Wave 4, and then up to complete wave 5. That is the 5-wave motor phase sequence. And now you can expect an ABC correction, which goes A, B, C, and then everything starts over again. Here, I just want to show you that the pattern actually works in both ways. In the previous slide, the pattern was bullish. But when the trend is bearish, then you get exactly the same pattern being observed. You have your 5-wave sequence going down, then your ABC correction phase. Now, how great is that? This means that you can make money both ways. It doesn't actually matter if the market's going up or down. You can still see the pattern and use it accordingly to find really good high probability trades. I just love this business. It's so much fun. Here's a bearish example. You can see the 5-wave bearish sequence quite clearly, and the ABC correction phase follows thereafter. Pretty easy to spot, right? Take a look at that. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It doesn't really matter what time scale you are looking at when you are analyzing the Elliott wave sequence. You will find it looks exactly the same in any time frame. Doesn't matter if it's 1 minute or 5 minutes or 1 hour, even weekly and yearly candlestick charts. It doesn't matter. It keeps repeating itself in smaller and larger degrees. So what this means practically is that each wave that is not a corrective wave can subdivide into its own 5-wave microwave structure. You can see that waves 1, 3, and 5, and A and C. Have a look at those. Those are waves 1, 3, 5, A, and C on this picture. They can subdivide into their own micro 5-wave sequence and their own corrective ABC phases. I can then carry on a step further, but I think you get the point, right? It's just incredible. It's amazing how this works. And why does this happen? Because the markets are fractal. And by fractal, I mean that it doesn't really matter what time frame you're looking at. You're going to see the same information. So now that we know about how the pattern looks, let's talk a little bit more about the 3 unbreakable rules of Elliott waves. And by unbreakable, I really do mean zero wiggle room to compromise and fudge the analysis. They are unbreakable. I've seen so many examples of charts posted online showing Elliott wave sequence counted completely wrong because one of these 3 rules was broken. This is probably the most important information you're ever going to learn about Elliott waves, so please take careful note of this one. These are the 3 rules. Number 1, wave 2 can never retrace beyond the start of wave 1. Number 2, wave 3 can never be the shortest wave. It doesn't have to be the longest, but it can never be the shortest. And lastly, wave 4 can never retrace into the price territory of wave 1. If one of these rules is broken, you are simply not dealing with an Elliott wave sequence. And the count of the structure, somewhere it's wrong. There's no exceptions. If a trader is in on a trade and one of these rules ends up being broken, then they have a great and excellent reason to get out of their position before any damage is done. But they need to be very alert to the rules, obviously. Looking at this picture, can you spot which rule is being broken? Right? Take a close look. So let's go through the sequence. Is wave 3 the shortest wave? No, it's clearly not the shortest wave. Has wave 4 come down so low that it enters into the price territory of wave 1? By that I mean, is wave 4 coming down and entering the price territory of wave 1? Clearly no, a lot of air gap there. But wave 2 does indeed go lower than the price territory of wave 1. Did you spot that? This means that the count on this chart is wrong, right? If you look at wave 2 here, has gone lower than the start of wave 1. So what this means is I would need to go back and find the proper sequence on the chart. This is wrong. What about this example? Has any of the 3 unbreakable rules been busted on this picture? So let's go through the checklist. Has wave 2 gone lower than wave 1? Right here. Has wave 2 gone lower than wave 1? No. Has wave 4 entered the price territory of wave 1? No. Just closed above it. You see that? Is wave 3 longer than wave 1? No, it is not. Look closely and you will see that wave 3 is far shorter than wave 1. This means the sequence is wrong, and we need to start again to look for the correct structure. Last example, I promise. Have any rules been broken here? And yes, indeed it has been. Take a very close look. Can you tell which one has been broken? Wave 4 has entered the price territory of wave 1. Meaning this cannot be an Elliott wave structure, and we would need to go a step back and look for the correct wave count. That is as far as I'm going to go for today, but just to recap, what we discussed is the Elliott wave principle and learned what the pattern looks like. We saw the pattern on some chart examples, and then we learned about the 3 unbreakable rules that must be followed to the letter to make sure you're dealing with the highest probability context. Now that we understand all this, in the next video, I'm going to discuss the 3 guidelines of Elliott wave theory. And these are the 3 guidelines that I look for when I'm trading. There are actually more than 3 guidelines, but these are the 3 that I've found to be the most reliable. Now, by guidelines, I mean that they are not unbreakable rules, but they are just those, guidelines. They help us analyze what we can expect to happen. Sometimes all 3 guidelines are just met sublimely and perfectly, but it's rather rare that I don't get at least one of these guidelines play out when I'm trading. These guidelines are the guidelines of alternation, depth, and channeling. Well, I hope that you found this helpful and that it's whet your appetite a bit for the next video. If all of you out there could please like or comment or share the video, I'll be very grateful. It really helps me a lot to let Facebook know that people are engaging with my stuff and that it's been of help. But until next time, thanks. Take care, guys.